That's really the lesson also of this pandemic, diba? We're never
Yeah.
in control. Nothing is really going to be certain. Everything is gonna be really uncertain, diba?
Yeah.
So and one thing that you can connect with your children, especially if they're young, diba? Kasi they don't have the skills yet to really, verbalize.
Yes.
Diba that Dr. Gabor Matenga was saying, that's why they're acting out because they can't speak.
They don't know how to.
Yeah.
Diba?
And how do you connect with them?
Yeah,
And I think for fathers, it's a Father's Day message. The best way to connect with them, which is hard for fathers, I think, generally, if you think about it, is because you have to connect in the feelings level.
Yeah.
That they're not going to be, you're not fixing it, you're not going to fix the situation. They just want you to be with them right then and there.
Yes.
Diba? So, and because males, okay, father figures, males are usually the one that, you can't talk about the feelings kasi it's, diba? Bawal nga umiyak eh, diba?
Yeah.
No tears, bawal umiyak, diba? Parang, but that's where the emotions come out because how will you express it if you can't use words? So they use tears and they use sounds and they use their bodies to connect with you.
Yes.
So and that's where we get triggered because somehow in our growing up we've been told that you're not allowed to share the feelings. But habit number 5 nga, diba? Parang,
Yeah, exactly.
now habit number 5
First.
with empathic, diba? It's really reflecting the feelings. So you're not even going to say it's going to be okay. Before, I thought that was like a positive response. If my daughter was nervous about taking an exam, going to school before dropping her off, she's like popping her knuckles and then she's like, why? Why are you nervous? You studied for this. What if I fail? Why will you fail? You studied for it na eh, di ba? Parang, oh my gosh, you're gonna be okay. Tapos you kiss them pa. You kiss them goodbye, bye. You're gonna be okay, okay? You're gonna be okay. But then deep inside, but I'm not okay. And then we're telling people it's okay to be okay. But then you're telling someone is telling you they're not okay. You're not, you know, parang, so it's like, okay, so you'll have to just connect with them at that level. And then you don't have to fix the situation. What's nakaka-trigger is if we have to do something, diba? You have this webinar going on. Umiiyak ka pa, dali na. Kailangan ka na. Diba? Parang that's where we get, that's where, the doing space we cannot kicks in already. That's where the conflict starts. So, like, habit number 5 was the hardest for me to practice. Going through the 7 habits, if people would ask me before, what is the habit that's hardest for you? For me, it was habit number 5 because, and I also, quite honestly, in the early times, like when I was teaching habit number 5.
In the early times.
In the earlier times. So when I was like, teaching habit number 5, but I was really doing the exercises from the brain. It's not, I really didn't feel it. Okay, in my heart, parang, alam ko na naman yung solution nila. Parang, sige, I'm doing lip service. It was more like lip service for me. But then now nga, I realized, wow, the power of like really feeling the message. So with the strengths nga, my blind spot is number 33 is empathy. So when I first took I saw that, I'm like, Parang ano pa ako parang defensive.
We could not believe it because this is Mother Kip we're talking about, right? We were like, what? Really? But
that's a revelation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I realized kasi we used to have like a food business also, Zekaf, diba? We used to have It's now on pause since it's pandemic. But before when the staff would come to me, like one-on-one, diba? Tapos padating pa lang sila, tapos may may luha na, umiiyak na, parang feeling ko, bakit ka umiiyak? Wala naman akong, wala ka pa nga tayo, hindi pa tayo wala. Iyak ka na. So for me, like tears, I look at it like as a data. Parang, okay, why is this person crying? Hindi pa naman ako nagsa-start. Pero, and then, so it helps when you have a partner. Inyaki kasi is na the, parang, so opposite. So it really helps because as soon as he speaks also, of course, iiyak lalo, pero parang nalabas na niya yung what's going on. So it just helps also to have, to seek for people who are different from you. So before I was...
Can compliment.
Yeah, diba, what you said nga, diba, parang we like people to mirror us or we're attracted to people who are like us. But at the same time, intentionally, parang you also open up the space for people who are really different from you, who triggers you kasi they show you something that you still need to evolve. Diba, parang we're really just one, diba? We're just really one. And, so just helps to parang be more relaxed in when there's conflict or when there's a trigger. So but it's also, so there are days na parang, I don't want to face it. I don't want to face it.
Yeah, you just want a break. Yeah, there are days where you want.
Yeah, can I just blame and be codependent with someone?
and because I mean, from even from experience, there are times where that's the easiest thing to do, or that's what we grew up, or that's what I grew up.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun? And alam mo yun, so it either there's, and we're not saying that it's anyone's fault. So the point here is not the blaming.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you, Kit, right, and from Pao sharing is that at a certain point, it's about taking responsibility for, okay, so this is what I've learned, and the hard part is to unlearn it, Kit. If I have a 17-month-old son, I see the patterns that you're telling me. We just had a discussion about it na, diba, how are you feeling? Is it okay? But then when my son starts to spread, nagkakalat na, lahat na ako, ano ba naman yan? Tayo nagkakalat dito sa bahay, wag nga tayo.
Diba? Parang yun. Yeah.
And the more I do that, mas nagkakalat siya kasi it feeds off my nervous so yung dati kinakalat lang, malapit lang sa kanya. Now it starts throwing everything.
Tapon na.
Ano na.
Yeah, exactly. Diba? And that's where the sense of humor comes in. That becomes really handy. Parang, okay, then for this space, okay, let's do it. Like, when my teenager was swearing, okay, there was an incident that during the start of the pandemic, parang suddenly I just said something and then suddenly she was on top of her voice and she was really swearing. It was the first time I also swore with her. Na-shock yata siya kasi dun yung first time narinig that I was like swearing. So she was like literally looking at me and she's like, so you want to say, all the bad words, but you want to say this? So I was saying it with her. Yeah, the it really sucks. So we were all just saying the bad words. And then I think she calmed down after she heard me. And then she just like went to her room. And then she stayed there. Siyempre, Iñaki was very nervous kasi, di ba, parang you hear in the news.
Yeah, right? Oh.
Di ba, in the news, di ba, siyempre, the suicide of teenagers rising. So you get so paranoid also about all these things. So he was, he usually would chime in also Iñaki saying that, parang he's very protective also of the mother. No, parang, she goes, oh, you don't speak like that to your mom. You should.
Yeah.
But at the time, parang he was just really quiet, and then he just followed Martina, and then he got a glass of water and then placed it outside the door, and then he just said, okay, Martina, if you're thirsty, there's water lang outside your door. You can just come out, and then. And it's really like what Dr. Covey said. It's the fastest way for you to really pivot that connection. Because what would take like days for us probably of not talking with each other or avoiding each other or just being civil, she just, after wala pang 1 hour, she went out of her room. She went to, I was in the bathroom. She entered the bathroom and she just hugged me. And then she was just really crying. And then, she didn't say anything, but she was just really crying. And then she just said, and then she goes, can I go back to my room? I just want to rest. Okay, So, and then from then on, she was parang more like safe. She feels safe to be able to just express herself and what she's going through. And one thing also that I've learned, the teenage brain is until 25 years old, diba? So when I realized that, I'm like, okay, I've got a long way to go.
Oh my, 11 years by that count.
Oh. But senior citizen na ako by the time I would expect her to think like an adult. Oh, well, she still has a long way to go. So sometimes we forget about they're still kids or they're still teens. Yeah. And the teenage brain is it's so wired. Kawawa talaga sila kasi it's so daming neurons going on. So they can't understand also what's happening inside them. Tapos dadagdag pa si mother or si father. So
and at that age, it's as if, right? I mean, I can recall being a teenager. I didn't even have that awareness. In my head, all I knew was, tama ako eh.
Yeah.
Tama, ganito talaga eh, di ba? Ganun eh, di ba?
The truth is my paradigm.
Tama ako eh.
So, okay, fine. And now, dami, there's so many talks that I don't know. So I allow them to educate me as well. Especially with social media now. We had one conversation all about gender. And sabi nga ni Iñaki, why is it so complicated? Before it's just male, female. Now my bisexual, my gender fluid, my transgender, my the pangender. Yeah. Wow, it's so complicated. But you see them, parang, wow. So this is gonna be the generation our children are gonna grow up with, diba? And it's not. How will you now, pag pumasok na dyan yung how will you now put that the right, wrong, diba? Versus what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
That gets blurred, not out of fear, but maybe more of engaging them in a conversation. What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Diba? So how do you think it's going to affect? How do you think it's going to be different from our relationship as husband, as mama and papa with you? Like if you find a partner, like, how is that going to affect your relationship? And when they speak their answer, I just gotta hold my tongue and not judge it and just listen, diba? Parang, and you're like, okay. Then you just, parang, then it becomes really a conversation. How about this? So what do you think about this when this is, if this is what's told to you, if this is my belief, what can you say about that? And then, so they also learn how to listen. They also learn how to see, okay. So what does it mean, mama? What does it, So, and then it becomes open-ended. Then you trust that when the time comes, when they need to make a choice, they're ready. They're ready because they feel safe. and they feel like whatever happens, whatever is the consequence, they will own it, and they will also, change according to what's needed in the situation, in the relationship. So there, parang it's an adventure, it's a play. We need to play with it. Diba? Parang, if not, oh my gosh, nervous breakdown ako. sa mga sa mga natututunan nila online, or with among their peers. And their peers now is global audience, diba?
Yeah.
It's true.
So it's not even their friends now are not even from the country. It's like
it used to be just their classmates, right? Or people in their school. Now it's so much different. There's some.
And there's so many communities rin, diba? She has her editing community. She has her the friends in camp, explore, and then she has school, and then she has for other friends also. Though, so before, so you try to like just get to know them. So even if they're saying all these Minecraft people who are streaming, parang Tombo from parang, sino na nga ulit yun? And then they get to laugh at you lang, Mom, you're not listening. I said, ang daming personalities eh. It's like, hindi ko na alam. But it's just the fact that you're like, they feel you're interested, and they feel that what matters to them matters to you also.
Mm-hmm.
And they're excited to share with you.
Share.
Yeah. So it gets to be really fun.